Hi people, what's up? How you are doing? Today we're going to be checking out something from Good Morning Britain. It's titled Monroe Bergdorf. Monroe Bergdorf clashes with Piers in heated debate on gender fluidity. Good Morning Britain. We all know, if you've been watching my videos closely, I've been bringing up videos for on gender fluidity with Piers Morgan, and we know he stands on things like this. When it comes to things like this, he's usually not joking. He goes straight and he doesn't even care if you're in your feelings or not. Do you understand? His debates are usually, you need to see his debate. So we're going to be watching this together. Before we dive into it, okay, welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, super excited to have you here. Please watch this video to the end. Drop your comments, like, share, subscribe, turn on. I know it's a lot, but don't worry. While you're watching, you can do all of this while you're watching. Okay, let's quickly dive into the video.
Are we damaging our children, or are we allowing to express their true identity?
I think we're doing the opposite of allowing children to express their true identity by medicating any form of gender non-conformity. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about children being able to express themselves and be who they are, be exactly who they are, wear what they want to, have the interests that they want to, whether they are boys or girls. We are telling boys that they are literally girls if they identify as girls. This is something very different. It's a political, ideological movement that is going into schools, which is against the Education Act. But this is going into schools and it's dictating schools' policy.
So you don't think this is about individual children? You suggest that this is a movement?
A movement that treats children with an adult political ideology. So we are imposing the label transgender onto children, or children are now self-identifying as transgender because they find out generally on Tumblr or Reddit or YouTube videos, and now this is being reaffirmed right across the board in schools, in girl guiding, with counsellors and therapists, the NSPCC, and now even their teachers.
This is the Dorothy Stringer School in Brighton, right?
Yeah.
So I was brought up just a few miles away from there. I know Brighton very, very well. It's a pretty liberal town. We all know that, okay? But according to the school's Equality Information Report and Accessibility Report, it showed 40 children aged between just 11 to 16 do not identify with their gender. 36 more said they are gender fluid. Yeah. The head teacher said, we're very proud of the equalities and inclusion work that we do. I find this absolutely extraordinary.
Children.
When 76 children in one school in a town like Brighton between 11 and 16 no longer wish to identify as male or female, I think this is a complete and utter nonsense, and worse, a dangerous nonsense. Persuade me I'm wrong.
OK, so if we look at how Brighton is as an area, it's got an extremely high LGBT population, it's extremely liberal. So when kids are in a school and they feel, oh, there's no stigma attached to being gender fluid or trans, so if they feel supported in an environment, then they're going to be questioning.
Why should they be encouraged to do this when it's clearly,
because
for
there's
many
nothing
of
wrong
them,
with being questioning about...
nobody's going to persuade me that 76 kids at one school in Brighton woke up one day and decided to be
Well, who said that they woke
fluid?
up one day? Who says that it's not something that happens overnight? It's something...
But where does this end? Do we end up with literally nobody in the future identifying as male and female?
Well,
what does that do?
maybe.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would you be happy with
not
that?
nobody, but some people are trans, and that's the fact.
And you genuinely think 76 kids in one school are transgender?
I'm saying that it's a
Or
possibility.
do you think it's possible? Is it possible?
I say
They've all just latched on to a fad that is getting more and more attention, and they are basically having their minds turned to
I don't
gender
think that
fluidity.
That's the case at all. I think that what we're seeing is children expressing or experimenting with their gender, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's a different thing.
Well,
expressing
that
is
too far?
different to experimenting.
If you look at what the headmaster said, not all of the kids are out and trans. Some of the kids are just experimenting or exploring their
But
gender.
isn't
you're
it
at
dangerous,
school-
this,
Nothing
Monroe?
wrong.
Even though, I completely support the
talking
ethos
about-
of genuine transgenderism, right? I support it. If people genuinely feel...
But you don't, Piers, because you bring
I don't believe
gender-neutral
76
people and
kids-
non-binary people onto your show constantly and berate them.
Well, no, I bring them on I bring them on and I challenge them.
Very consistently.
I challenge them about gender fluidity. That's where I have an
That's
issue.
still under the trans bracket.
Well, maybe, but I think...
No, not maybe, absolutely.
Gender fluidity to me is, I think it's a farce, personally, right? I think you...
That's your own bigoted opinion.
I don't think it's bigoted.
It is absolutely
I don't think it's bigoted. But, you know, people who decide one day they're male, next day they're female, next day back to male, I think it's ridiculous.
That's because you're a cis straight man.
Maybe, or maybe I'm right. And it's
Maybe
ridiculous.
you're not.
Well,
have you thought about
what
that?
makes you, with your own self-righteousness, think you're right all the time about this
Not
stuff?
self-righteous. I'm standing up for people.
I have
that
warned
deserve
for
to be
ages that
standing
I
up
think
for.
this is the way things are going to go, and here we have
Well,
76
what are you
kids
so
in one
scared of?
school.
What are you so scared of if this is
I'm
the way
scared
that it's going?
that the common
What is
societal
so bad
norm...
about being gender
These kids are
non-conforming?
11 to 16. I've had
Little
4 kids, right?
boys
3 have
and
gone through
girls.
that age group,
Yeah.
through puberty. They change wildly.
And what would you do if you had a gender-neutral child or a gender non-conforming, non-binary
I'd say,
child?
I would say to them, what does this mean? What do you mean gender fluid? What do you
Would
mean
you
by
support
that?
them?
But more importantly,
Would you support them?
I would not encourage it.
Would you support them?
Exactly.
Then?
No, but if they carried on over years saying to me, I was born in
And
the
that's
wrong
probably
sex.
what's happening. They're
It's
not
not-
just
it's not
no,
what's
but you,
happening.
no, you don't know that though.
Can I
This is probably
come
what's
in
happening.
here
of
and
course.
say we're not talking about gender? All of these fall under the trans umbrella now. Gender non-conforming, gender fluid, non-binary. They're all gender identities. Everybody's under the transgender gender umbrella, actually, because I don't conform to sex stereotypes. I've got a logical brain. That's male, isn't it? You know, I am gender fluid. I
Logical
don't.
brain is not
A logical
male.
brain is a
We've
male
pushed-
thing. Well, according to gender stereotypes, it is.
much past
What
that.
we are talking about is not supporting children in gender non-conformity. We are changing that gender non-conformity to conform to sex stereotypes of the opposite sex.
My problem is as I see it, as a creeping war on the words man and woman, male and female. Let me give an example. University students at Goldsmiths, University of London and King's College London, have stopped using the word woman because it's deemed offensive, because it includes the word man. At Goldsmith, the Students' Union has ceased to use the words women and woman, since woman, WOMXN, is now deemed more inclusive of
That's
students.
not using the
Hang
word
on.
woman. That's
It's now been
just
deemed more
changing
inclusive
it and making
also.
it inclusive.
So we are abandoning these...
We're not abandoning the word woman at all.
The
That's
Students'
just
Union
making
has
it
stopped
inclusive.
using the word woman.
Well, that's up to them.
Fine. And it's up to me to say, what are you doing? Why are you banning the word woman because it has the word
That
man in
isn't
it?
banning the
because
word
you don't want to
woman at
upset, as
all.
they say, a few transgender students.
Can we just
What
get
about
back
the
to
vast majority of
subject
students who are not
children?
transgender?
Can we just get back to the subject of children
hang
in
on, excuse me.
schools?
With respect, I'm asking about this to Monroe, because you're a leading light in this. You're very eloquent. I think a lot of what you say I agree with. But on these points like this, I
The
think
point
this
of
is
the word
nuts.
woman is to include everybody. And putting an
What is
X
wrong
in
with the
there-
word woman?
Because a lot of feminism isn't geared, as your feminism isn't, to include trans people. So it's a
You don't
clear-
think we should ever use
clear-
the word woman
I
again?
did not say that.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying that if we're speaking about inclusivity, we're speaking about matters of gender diversity, then we should use a terminology that everybody
So we
feels
shouldn't use
comfortable
woman?
with. Didn't say that we shouldn't
The
use women.
Students'
I just
Union,
said
So
that we
what-
should spell it.
do you agree with Goldsmith? The Students' Union has ceased to use the words woman and woman
I just
because they
answered
want to
your
use
question.
WOMXN.
I think that
Do you
it's an
agree with it?
inclusive way. Yes, why not?
So you want to abandon the use of the word woman?
Didn't say that either.
But that's what they've done.
No, they haven't.
They have.
They're just changing the spellings
They have-
to
yes.
show that they're inclusive of
They
the
have
trans
stopped
narrative.
using the word woman because it includes the word man.
The word woman is still woman. With an X, it's just the O.
Why are you
taken
changing it?
out. It's just to show an inclusive nature when speaking about
But it means
gender
you can't.
issues.
It means that they are banning the
We
traditional
could go
spelling of woman.
around and around with this. We can
But
move
they're
to the next
banning. They
point.
said it themselves. They got rid of the word woman because it has man in it. This is nuts.
It's not getting rid of the word woman. It's
is. They've
speaking
got rid
about
of it.
an intersectional approach to
You can use all the
feminism.
long words you like at me, right? The bottom line is
Words.
they have stopped using the words women and woman in publications. They don't use it anymore. They have banned it.
They're speaking about an inclusive branch
They don't
of
want to upset
feminism.
a few transgender students, to which I say, what about the vast majority of students who are not transgender?
And how are the
Why
ones
are
that
they not
aren't?
allowed to read the word
It's
woman?
speaking about
because
an
it has
inclu-
man
oh
in
my
it.
God,
It is
you can speak over me and not allow me to say
it is
anything.
nuts, and I'm amazed you're defending it.
It isn't nuts, Piers, because when you need to deal with everything that comes with being trans, when an institution such as Goldsmiths sends a message that we are inclusive, And when we're going to speak about feminism or gender issues, we are going to put an X as a sign of
So
solidarity.
should we use the word woman on Good Morning Britain?
Use what you want, Piers. You're going to anyway.
Should we, though?
Why not?
You just said you agreed with Goldsmith banning
honestly,
it.
do what you want. You're not the most inclusive programme when it comes to transgender
Really?
people anyway. No,
Why are we not
absolutely
inclusive?
not.
You've been
to
a
be
regular
honest,
guest.
Monroe, I think we discuss transgender issues
More than
on
anybody.
this
We
Discuss
programme
it a
more
lot,
than
but
any other programme.
You do. You're wonderful.
Well, she
but
agrees with
Piers-
you, right?
Piers on
I
another
challenge you.
account.
I'm allowed to challenge you.
You can challenge
This doesn't
me, but you're very
necessarily
offensive
just
when it
because
comes to a lot of issues.
I'm not offensive. I'm to
You're
the
not
point.
offensive.
I'm to the point. I happened to wake up this morning. I see
The whole
76.
nation knows that you're offensive with a lot of topics, especially with trans
Don't get
people and
personal.
women. I'm getting personal.
I
because
woke
this is
up.
personal
I woke
for
up.
me.
It's personal to me too. I have 4 children. Right? I woke
But
up.
you're not trans, and we're speaking about trans issues.
You can support transgender rights without thinking it's a good thing that 76 kids in
Piers,
one
you're
school
getting up
wake
in
up
arms
one
about
day
an
and want to be
X
gender
to show
fluid,
that-
right?
No.
I don't think banning the word woman
I didn't say-
advances the transgender cause. I think it damages it. I think it makes every
Well, you're
person
not
who's
trans,
not
so how
transgender
would you
go,
know?
what are you doing?
I think the thing is,
Why is
in
that
schools,
offensive?
what we're doing, we're giving children a survey in Brighton which says, in year 7, which is the start of secondary school, do you identify with the gender you assigned at birth? So we are leading children into thinking, do I identify? Oh, actually,
Of
I've
course
got
we
some
are.
interest.
Why
of course,
you bring us
we are.
the
to
where
be
the self-identification
influenced
ends
by
really
adults.
just boils
And
down
the
to the fact
problem
that adults
is,
do not want
the
transgender
problem is for children that
You
there
I don't
is-
agree with that.
Can I,
No,
can
I
I
don't agree
finish?
with that.
Can I
Absolutely
just
in
finish
case they don't
my
wanna go
point
to the-
about children?
Yeah.
That the problem is that there is only a medical pathway for children. So whereas lobby groups are campaigning for a demedicalisation of transgender for the Gender Recognition Act and for it to be unrelated to gender dysphoria, with children the same lobby groups are campaigning for earlier and earlier medicalisation. There's no long-term research. We do not know the effects of these drugs.
All right.
Puberty
Can I just ask you-
blockers
can I
are
just ask
tested
you,
on
if
children.
this is about the children,
Can I
why
just
is
finish
your
my
website
point
an
that
attack on
puberty
transgender adults?
blockers have been used and experimented on children before animals. Trials on sheep now are showing worrying results with the brain that even when you stop blockers, do not return.
We regularly debate this on the show. You may not like my
Speaking
opinions.
about your demeanour and your opinion.
You may not like my demeanour. You might like the fact you don't like the fact I challenge you about this.
I'm also
Monroe,
speaking
you-
about...
But in a free
I'm not talking
society,
about
I am
you,
allowed to
Susanna, I'm
challenge you
talking
about your
Piers.
views.
I know, but
right?
you know
Your
that
views.
Piers's views reflect a lot of the challenges that people have
Absolutely,
with this
but
issue.
that's
So it's
our problem
entirely...
with transphobia as a nation as well. And a lot
I'm
of...
not transphobic.
Well, a lot of your demeanour and a lot of your opinions say otherwise.
No, I just think that when you ban words like woman, it is nuts.
No one's saying
That's not
that
about
they're banning...
that's not about
we're not banning the
transgender
word
rights.
woman.
That is
it's
about
a sign of
that is about
solidarity.
allowing the transgender community
No,
to
Piers,
you're
bully
wrong on that.
people, to
Solidarity.
bully people. Which, by the way, the community
Bullying people?
Yes, bully people.
Do you want to
the
talk about
abuse
the-
I get on social media
Oh, poor you.
when I
too.
address these issues is unbelievable.
Okay,
It's
I
unbelievable.
do... Sorry, I have
It's only
to...
rivaled by vegans.
I have to do...
Are you a vegan?
Oh my gosh.
even gonna
Yes.
No, but that doesn't
Don't
do
do
with
that.
anything.
I'm a vegetarian, don't have a go at me. The school's head teacher told us the figures don't reflect the number of openly trans children they have in school, which is much lower. They say
Yeah,
it reflects
76
how difficult
kids in
it
that
is
school.
for trans students to come forward.
It's insane. I'm not even going to lie. I feel Piers Morgan's pain. I see why he's taking it personal. For a father who has 4 kids, it is insane. I can't even fathom, right? How can you say 76 children trans? I don't understand. Like, how? The other woman, the elderly woman there sitting on the table, she said when children are in year 7 going on to secondary school, they asked them, which gender do you... Why are you asking kids what gender they identify with? Why is this such a big deal? Why is this such a big deal to you guys? Do you understand? Allow kids, just like Piers said, he doesn't have a problem with people transgendering. Like adults, if you want, that's on you. That's on you. Nobody should have a problem with it, right? But when it is now being imposed on kids, it is now ridiculous. It is now so ridiculous because you're like, allow these kids be kids. Allow them be kids. You know, this, I don't know. You guys know how Piers Morgan gets when he comes to conversations like this. He doesn't even take it with a pinch of salt. He goes head on. He doesn't care who's been offended or who's hurt in the process. He would like to ask and understand, because everybody gets confused when these conversations are held, especially when it involves kids, innocent kids. He said between the ages of, I can't even remember the age, but they are teenagers, like from, I think, 11 to 16, something like that, like ages 11 to 16. And that is when like puberty kicks in. They go through a lot of changes in their body, in their hormones and all of those things, and you are now imposing it on, oh, you can be a girl if you feel like a girl. Allow them be the gender they are. When they grow, when they are 18, they can now decide. If we allow these kids grow and be, then they can maybe they will make better choices and make better decisions when they are grown. But when they are kids can be foolish. Kids, that's why they need adults to help them, because kids, I mean, a child would just want to eat sugar from morning till night. That's kids. You have to tell them, oh baby, you cannot eat sugar. You need to eat vegetables, you need to eat fruits and a little bit of sugar. If you eat sugar, excess sugar, this is what's going to happen to them. So kids can be foolish. So you need adults, right thinking adults, to help them make better decisions and better choices, like allowing them be the gender they want to be. Don't impose, oh, you can be a girl, you're a girl in a boy's body. And again, I feel like, just like one of them mentioned, rightfully, a lot of these kids get influenced by what they see online, what they watch online, what they hear. So that's why parents needs to be guided. Parents needs to protect these kids at all costs. I mean, it's so insane. 76 kids in one school and charge. I would love to know what you guys think about this conversation. Do you guys think Piers Morgan is always taking these things too personal? I don't think he does, because he has 4 kids. So a father with 4 kids would feel the pain more. Do you understand? Yeah. So please let's know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do well to like, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.